trillion in debt, and our kids and grandkids would have to pay that back, I would have thought you were in some kind of strange world. But there we are, and we're not doing what we have to do to get back into balance. We're not being sensible or gutsy. One of the things that happens when you exist in a climate of politics in Washington that is so partisan, where people jump on each other, always thinking about the next election, is that you become risk averse. Now, you're all business people. I mean, I know I grew up in a family of small business people. None of you has failed to take some risks to get where you are. That's just the nature of our economic system, and it's the nature of life, including government, if you want to solve problems. There's no easy way to get us out of the debt. But most people know what we got to do. We simply have to have entitlement reform and tax reform. We've got to not cut the entitlements like Medicare, but we got to slow their growth, or they're going to go bankrupt. And we got to reform our tax system, hopefully lowering some rates, particularly on businesses, but ultimately we got to raise a little more money for the government. Everybody has to contribute to get us out of the hole that we're in now. I just summarized the problem in 2 numbers. Normally, when we've been in good times, like any business, our expenditures have equaled pretty much our revenues. Today, revenues of the federal government equals 16% of the gross domestic product. Spending of the federal government equals 23% of the gross domestic product. That 7% gap is, hundreds of billions, over $1 trillion every year. And we simply have to close it, and we're going to have to show some guts to do it. Incidentally, I think closing that gap and getting us back onto a long-term bipartisan path to fiscal balance in our country is the best thing we can do to restore economic growth. Here's an interesting fact that economists will tell you. Today, American businesses have more, a lot of these are big businesses, but have more liquid assets that they're sitting on than at any time in the history of our country. And why are they sitting on it? They're uncertain about the future. They don't have confidence, including what the federal government is going to do to their tax rate. We're not going to create the millions of new jobs we need in this country with government spending. It's just, that's not what we're about. They're going to come from the private sector, and particularly from small business. Small business is the engine that drives the American economy. And I'm telling you, if we could agree on a bipartisan long-term debt reduction program, I think it would give the private sector, business leaders, the confidence to invest the money that will create the jobs that Americans so desperately need. We got a chance, another shot at this in the lame duck session after the election. If we don't do it, we're going to go over the fiscal cliff.